Okay. So Dashakam 18 Prithu Chakravarti
What are
Charita. Now Prithu Chakravarti, as I told you, is one of the avatars of Lord Vishnu. Maybe you can consider as a minor avatara. Let's not say minor. It doesn't fall mainly in the 10 popular avatars that are there in the 10 Dashavatars. But apart from that, we have 22 to 24 more as mentioned in the Bhagavatam. So Prithu Chakravarti, especially this Charitam, if you see, in most of the Puranas, it has been highlighted. So you have the story of Prithu. And from the king Prithu, that's how goddess Earth, she has got the name Prithvi. Now, in the line of Dhruva, so basically it's a lineage of kings that has been told. So in Dashakam 17, we saw the story of Dhruva. So in the same line, in the same lineage of Dhruva, this king was born Anga and his son was Veda. Now Veda was, you can say, an evil character, causing a lot of trouble to people around. That's when people had to ultimately, sages or so, they had to crush him into pieces so that he dies. That was the amount of, you can say, torture that is there. So now you might be wondering, now let one thing be very clear. You might wonder that maybe now the stories like Vena also, it has happened before, right? So we feel that only in Kali Yuga there are all kinds of evils. There have been many evils in all of the yugas except for Satya Yuga. So even the killing of Ravana and so many other asuras. So all this has taken place. It's not that only in Kali Yuga things are happening evil or of that sort. So just imagine characters like Vena when ultimately they had to all crush him into pieces to get rid of him. That was the amount of torture or trouble that he had caused to people around. But out of his hands, it is believed that Prithvi was born. Now, through this, like, do not get too much into, you can say, a very logical aspect. The learning that is there on the literary terms, you can consider that there have been characters, like, even in today's life, also how you apply it is there are certain things or certain people, for them, we don't have a solution, but ultimately, you have to get rid of them. How do we get rid of them? Not by actually going and killing someone. If you kill someone, rest of your life you have to spend in the jail then, right? So not actually by killing someone, but to maybe get far away from, it can be people or maybe certain things which are causing us harm. So the same thing happened in the case of Vena also, but the solution for getting rid of Vena was killing him, crushing him into pieces and getting rid of him. So Anga, in the line of Dhruva, you had the next king, Jatasya Dhruva Kula. In the lineage or in the family of Dhruva, the next king who came was Anga. His son was Vena. And that's when now Angadesha Raja, this king Anga, he was very much, you can say, distressed, very sad, looking at the evil behavior of his son, and he took up Vanaprastha Ashrama. That is, he went to the forest to spend the rest of his life. Now, Vena, though he was very, you can say, evil also, still he was very powerful. He had a lot of strength, and he boasted about his strength in front of his subjects and so on. And he stopped all kinds of worship, sacrifice, so all good things that were being done in the society, he told his subjects to stop all that. And at that time there were a group of sages, but then it was very important for the king to behave in the right way. The king doesn't behave properly, the subjects also will be guided on the wrong path, right? So at that time, a group of sages, they come. Papo samprapte hita kathanaya, meaning to advise him. Hita kathanaya. Hita is for one's own good. Kathanaya, to tell him about his own good. A group of sages came to advise him, and he started abusing and causing trouble to them also, and telling that, like Hiranyakashipu, there is no other ruler than me on earth. And at that time, all the sages, they got very angry and they cursed him. And in that curse, he was destroyed. And how he was destroyed, that is Shalabadasham, sorry, Shapagnav Shalabadashamanayivenaha. Verse 3, Dashakam 18, last line. Shalabadasham, meaning like a moth, moth, moth. Now, what is the significance of a moth here? That is, you would have seen, right? A moth or a butterfly, you just touch its wings, it will die. So, it is very, very delicate. Like that, this Vena also was destroyed due to the curse given by the sages. Now, next, now this king has gone away. Now the sages feared that there is no ruler for the kingdom, so what to do? So at that time, what they did is they took the body of Vena from his mother. How come the body was left? His mother, Vena's mother, she had preserved his body for a long time, it seems. So they took it and they churned his thighs, not his arms. His thighs they took. Now, why thighs? Even today, if you see, if there are some major operations that are to be done, maybe your heart or maybe something in the feet or so, they will take a lot of skin from the thighs. Why this is done is, why a lot of portion is taken in from the thighs is, thighs, if you see, they are considered to be the thickest part of the body. Thickest, or the skin. There's a lot of skin or flesh that is present in the thighs. That is there. So a lot of and thighs are a major part of the body. Thighs are the parts that actually connect the lower part of the body and upper part of the body. So very very important part of the body. Nothing should ever happen to the thighs. Ever happen is no injury, nothing. We know the story from Mahabharata, wherein Urubangam, thighs of Duryodhana were broken. If anything happens to the thighs, that's it. Takes a lot of time to cure and so on. And that's the reason why in the thigh also you don't have a lot of injuries that take place. Injuries do take place, but then it is very difficult because the flesh also, or the skin that is there, it's quite thick. So that's the reason even in those times. Today also, if you see, as surgeries are done in thighs, in those times also what the sages did is they churned the body, they churned Veda's body, and through his thighs, that's when Prithu was born, Prithu Chakravarti. He was born. So basically, what happened is they churned his thighs. Thighs were fully churned, so he became sinless. This is what is a belief. All his sins went away, and then like that, each part of the body they tried to churn. Next one is arms were churned. From there, you appeared. Bhattatri says, "Who's this you?" That is Prithu Chakravarti. Prithu appeared there, and once Prithu appeared, this was a famous incarnation. So verse number 5, Dashakam 18 highlights about Prithu Avatara, that is there. तन्नाशात् खलजनभिरुकैर्मुनीन्द्रै तन्मात्रा चिरपरिरक्षिते तरङ्गे. In the form of Prithu he came. Vikhyatah Prithuriti. Sorry? Verse 5 is Vikhyatah Prithuriti. This, all through the world, he became famous as Prithu. You became famous as Prithu. Bhattatri is directly addressing the Lord. Sages also declared this, and thus all of them they sang your praises. The world was very happy that they got back a king, that too Prithu. And in fact, at that time, what happened was the world or earth, she had withdrawn everything. That is, she had given up everything. Now, the bhumi or earth should to be fertile is very, very important. It was just barren, drought, famine like situations everywhere. It was becoming very difficult for living beings, that is, human beings, as well as animals and creatures to live in. That's when first Prithu decided that if I have to do anything, first I have to start improving and working on Goddess Earth. Goddess Earth should start providing resources. Only then the world will become happy, only then the world can survive. So what he does is, at that time the earth, Bhumi Devi, she had assumed the form of a cow, and she was she was attacked, it seems, by Veda, by a bow and arrow and so on. So that's the reason she was told by Veda that you don't provide anything, otherwise I will attack you, let the people suffer. So that was his nature basically. So in fact, at that time what happened is, the Lord, what he did, he told Goddess Earth that assumed the form of a cow. So Prithu in the form of the Vishnu in the form of Prithu, he tells all the subjects, gods, sages and so on, that you go and milk the cow so that you get milk, and using that milk you can use those products for your livelihood and so on. And this earth, Goddess Mother Earth, she was like the form of Surabhi. Surabhi is the Surabhitanum, verse number 6, last line. Surabhitanu Madhu Duhastvam, the form of the celestial cow Surabhi, Goddess Earth, was present there, and that's how, as per the requirements of all the calves. Now, what is a calf here? All living creatures, human beings, and so on. Like her own children, she was providing milk. And at that time, Prithu was also performing a lot of sacrifices, and that's when the 100th Ashwamedha sacrifice was about to begin. Indra became jealous, and he stole away the sacrificial horse that was there. And then at that time he was defeated by Prithu's son, whose name was Vijitashva. Vijitashva, by him he was defeated. So basically, Prithu made the earth a very good place to live in. Goddess Earth had assumed the form of a cow. Prithu offered protection to Prithvi Devi. That's how she gets the name Prithvi. Then further, all the subjects became very happy. They got milk and other resources to live a good life. Prithu decided to perform a lot of sacrifices. He was about to perform his 100th Ashwamedha sacrifice. That's when Indra came and stole the sacrificial a horse, and Indra was defeated by Prithu's son, whose name was Vijitashva. And again, Indra was trying to do this. That's when what happened is, but every time some or the other he was stopped by doing. Finally, the sacrifice was completed, and at that time, Prithu he manifested himself as Lord Vishnu himself. As Lord Vishnu, this comes in verse number 8. Sakshatvam madhure pumaikshata swayam swam. Sakshatvam, Sakshat in the form of Vishnu, Lord Prithu or King Prithu, he manifested himself. Further, it seems that you established yourself. Bhattatri says that is Prithu, he spent the rest of his life on the banks of river Ganga, and he taught dharma and good things to the sages who were present there. He also met Sanaka, Sanandana, the four Sanat Kumaras together, and thus the four Sanat Kumaras, Sanaka and others, they also received a lot of knowledge from you. They started imparting the same to others. You help them realize their own self, you help them by providing knowledge. So now you be pleased to cure me of my ailments also. Sattvaram me rogaugam prashamayavatage havasin. Dashakam 18, last verse. When now through Prithu Chakravarti, through this Prithu Avataram, you have ensured that the entire world is happy, the sages have been given knowledge, now you bless me also. Bhattatri cries out. Further, Dashakam 19 is Prachetasa Katha. So Dashakam 18, could everyone follow? Yes, it's a small story, an important avatar. Yeah. Okay. Dashakam 19, Prachetasa Katha. Now, Dashakam 19, here what happens is again the continuation of Prithu's lineage. Now, this is Prithu's great grandson. Prithostu Napta great grandson. Prithu's great grandson, his name was Prachina Barhi. And he had married a woman, her name was Shatadruti. From her, 10 sons were born, and they were called the 10 Prachetas who were there. Further, this Prachetas, they were told by Prachina Barhi that your main job is to ensure that you beget good children so that our family lineage is, you can say, it will stay, and good sons will be begetted, good children will be there, and so on. So, begetting children was considered to be let's not say was, is considered to be an important function of Grihasashrama Dharma. Only then the family lineage goes further, only then we can give up to the future generations. So, that's the reason why main Prachina Maharshi told his 10 sons that now your main worship, your main thing is beget good children, but this 10 Prachetas who were there, they were not at all interested in Grihastha Dharma. So what they did is they just were interested in meditation and so on. They started meditating. So they just they you can say they were firm believers in just philosophy, meditation, and so on. They were not interested in this. All the 10 brothers were same. So they went to the seashore and they started meditating. At that time, they saw a beautiful lake, and there what happens is Lord Shiva was present there. Lord Shiva, he wanted to meet his devotees, is very, very eager. So all the 10 Prachetas, they meet Lord Shiva there on the bank of the holy lake. There was a holy lake. And they, in fact, at that point, it seems that Lord Shiva taught them a shloka in praise, or you can say some hymns and mantras in praise of Lord Vishnu. This again shows that both Shiva and Vishnu are one and the same. They are worshippers of each other. And in fact, those 10 prachetas who were there, on that water, the water bank, or that is in the seashore, they spent about 10,000 years even inside water, in the seashore and also inside water, chanting the hymns that were taught to them. And finally, in fact, it took about 10,000 years for them, unlike Dhruva, who got it quite early. So after 10,000 years, finally they got moksha, this, that, and so on. They realized, and that's how their meditation, it had fruit. Furtherly, what happened is, their father Prachina Barhis, he had killed a lot of animals, it seems. Now there was this practice of doing animal sacrifice. So Prachina Barhis had killed many animals. But due to the meditation and the good things done by his sons, the 10 Prachetas, he also got rid of all his sins that were there. Narada also taught him a few things about knowledge, philosophy, and so on. Narada went to Prachina Barhi's house and taught him these things. And finally, what happened is the Lord manifested himself in front of the Prachetas. They blessed all of them. And how the Lord he manifested is, it is given in verse number 6 with 8 on sitting on Garuda. One second. Yeah. कृपाबलेनैव पुरः प्रचेतसां प्रशागमागाः पतगेन्द्रवाहनः. And last line, Bhujabihi Ashtabhihi, that is in 8 hands having the Shankha Chakra and so on, sitting on Garuda with divine weapons and lot of shine all around. The Lord manifested himself and gave darshana. He came in front of the Prachetas, and without even them asking, he gave them lot of boons. So this shows that there is ultimate bhakti, and you can say devotion to the Lord. You don't even, there's no need to go and ask that I want this, I want that. By himself, the Lord will provide the things. And he told the Prachetas that you keep chanting the hymn that has been taught to you by Lord Rudra, Lord Shiva, and work for the benefit of living beings all around. Everything will happen as you wish. And at that time, what the Lord says that he told the 10 Prachetas that you will get the daughter of the trees. Now that's the reason even till date, if you see, we worship even trees, right? So trees also are said to be living beings. They too have daughters, it seems, as per the shloka that is given. And he tells that daughter of trees will be married to you, so all of you have to marry. And for 10 lakh years or so, it seems that they led a very good life. And it said that you will have a son. His name is Daksha. So Daksha Prajapati is actually the son of these 10 Prachetas. And thus the Prachetas, it seems that at that time what happened is, because they had to marry the daughter of trees, there were a lot of trees that were growing around. So only if there are a lot of trees, they will beget more trees will grow, and that's how the Prachetas can marry, right? So a lot of trees were being grown around suddenly. Suddenly, a lot of trees were being seen, and all the 10 Prachetas, they got very angry because the entire earth was being covered by trees, it seems. And at that time, they got very angry. They were about to cut off everything. So that's when Brahma said that no, this is a will of Lord Vishnu. He wants all of you to marry the trees. That's why you have all these so many trees growing in trees and their daughters. So finally, he told them that now the time has come. You have to marry these trees. So do that and live happily with them. And after begetting the son Daksha and performing a lot of sacrifices, also having attained a lot of knowledge from the Lord, from Lord Shiva, from Lord Narada, ultimately they all of them they got liberation. So just as the 10 Prachetas also got liberation, similarly, Ava, last verse, Ava Puranandapatam Tata Vidas Twami Shavata Layanatha Pahima. Butterfly cries out, you attain, you say, you give me protection to me, you protect me also. So this is again a small story of the 10 Prachetas. So through these stories, like Dashakam 1890, it's like Bhattatri, he tells about different instances wherein the Lord has blessed his devotees, the Lord has guided them in the right path, but my ailments are not being fulfilled. So through these different stories, Bhattatri tells that I know about your different leelas, your different blessings that you have given to people all around, but you are not doing anything for me. So this is the story of Pracheta Sakata. Could everyone follow? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll see one more Dashakam 20 and then we'll continue learning.
Very nice explanation.
Yeah. Dashakam 20 we start. Dashakam 20, Rishabha Yogeshwara Charitam. Rishabhadeva is another avatara of Lord Vishnu. Please note, Vrishabhanatha has got nothing to do with the Jain Tirthankar Rishabhadeva. Okay? Jainism is different, Hinduism is different, Sanatana Dharma is different. So we cannot compare. Just like Buddha we have, Gautama Buddha or Sugata Buddha avatars, there can be few similarities maybe between the nature or maybe in the place of birth and so on. Apart from that, we cannot just mix two things, right? So you have to be very careful on this part. Okay. Next is Rishabhadeva Charita. Now further what happens is King Priyavrata, he had a son. Now who is this Priyavrata? Anyone knows who is Priyavrata? So Dashakam 20, if you see, it talks about the story of Priyavrata. So Priyavrata, this king, he had a son named Ashni, Ashniditra. Sorry, Agnidra, not Ashniditra, Agnidra. Agnidra is the name of the son, and from him was born Nabhi. Nabhi was born, and when Nabhi was performing a yajna, it seems that he had a vision of the Lord. Bhattatri says, and he prayed to you. And then what happened is, at that time, the Lord comes and tells Nabhi that I will be born to you in the form of a son. And you were born as a part incarnation. Twama Shataf Abru, verse number 3, if you see. Answer. Twamam Shato Bhur Amshaha. Amshaha meaning a part incarnation. Like you have Hanuman, or Amsha is just one part that is there. So if we say Hanuman, basically he is an Amsha avatar of Lord Shiva. One part of Lord Shiva is present in him. Some people also consider full, but that is not. It's not said in that way. Amsha is just one part that is there. Whereas you have Rama Avatara, Krishna Avatara, the Lord Himself has come down, right? So Amsha is different and full incarnation is different. So Nabhi, so Ramshavatara, Nabhi's son Rishabhanatha was born. Rishabha mainly. Rishabha was born to Meru Devi. Meru Devi was a wife of Nabhi, and Rishabhadeva, he delighted everyone. All the people all around were very happy looking at him. And Nabhi, he told Rishabha that now I have grown old. I give you the responsibility of the entire kingdom, the administration part, everything. You take care. You are the ruler of the three worlds. Saying so, he went to the forest. He took up Vanaprastha along with his wife Meru Devi, and he also started worshipping the Lord. Now, at that time, what happened is Indra, as usually, became very jealous with the greatness of Rishabha ruling over all the three worlds. And what happened is he caught hold of a continent name of, just as we have different continents today, similarly in those times also the names of continents were there. One of the continent was Ajanabha. So he now Nabi, he was the ruler of all the three worlds, so all the lands were under his control. So Indra took up this one continent Ajanabha, and Indra, as a god of rain, he showered heavy rains there, non-stop rains. And thus what happened is Lord, as usual, Rishabha, he fought with Indra. He got back Ajanaba and his control and stopped the rains and so on. So Indra became very happy on with the victory, and he his offered a lady called Jayanti. Jayanti is actually an incarnation of goddess Mahalakshmi herself. In the avatars of Mahalakshmi, you have this reference that is there. Garuda Puranam highlights about few incarnations of the goddess that is there. In that you have one of this, that is Jayanti. So Jayanti Devi, she was married off to Rishabha. Indra had offered Jayanti as your wife, and thus through Jayanti and Rishabha together, they begot about 100 sons, eldest of whom was Bharata or Bharata. That's how we have today our country called as Bharata Desha. Nine of them, amongst this, they became great yogis. Another nine, now out the children, what exactly happened to them, what they did exactly, that is mentioned. Nine of them, they became yogis and sages. Another nine, they ruled over different parts of Bharata Desha. The remaining 81 sons, it seems that they practiced only brahmacharya ashrama. They did not take up kshatriya, they did not become kings, they did not become grihasthas, nothing. And then what happened is Rishabha also advised his kings that now again now he divided. Now Rishabha had done his duty well. He had divided different parts of Bharatadesha to all his sons. He had distributed, and now tells that now my life is over. My life is over in the sense now I have turned out old. Let me also retire. Let me go to the forest. And at that time, what happened is the Lord. It seems that he behaved like a madman. Madman in the sense. Now, note one thing: insane or mad or like a ghost. When this I'll tell you the words for this. Verse number 9, 8, if you see. Jadonmata Pishachachariyam. So basically, yogis or sages or so called sadhus that are there, you would have seen, their looks will not be very good, right? That doesn't mean that they are mad. But looking at someone, maybe they'll not speak, or maybe the way that they have the jada and so on. Just by looking at them, we feel that they are mad, but actually they are not mad also. Especially if you go to this pilgrimage places also, we come across those sadhus or whatever, right? Saints. I'm talking about proper sadhus, not those so-called sadhus who call themselves to be sadhus. Those fraud sadhus, no. Normally, you look at those sadhus also, maybe on the roadside, we feel looking at them maybe like beggars or so they're sitting, right? But actually, maybe they might tell you something very, you can say, very blessed or auspicious and so on. That's all, everyone's own personal experiences. So like this, those sages or yogis at times they might look. Just for example, Lord Shiva also, as Himavan or Lord of Himalayas, he used to worry, saying that look at someone with the Shiva's form, if you see with a jata, wearing a skull mala around his head, always applying bhasma from the smashana, then you can say having a gajavastram, not even proper clothes. No woman will wish or no father would like his daughter to marry such a man, right? But Lord Shiva is a ruler, you can say, the one who has a control over all the three worlds, the Lord himself. But form is not that pleasant, right? So therefore, like that, sadhus also, maybe physically or just by looking at them, they might seem to be like a lunatic also, but it's not at all like that. So Rishabha also at this point, he looked like a madman when he retired to the forest, but he was the one having a lot of knowledge and so on. Further, you imparted a lot of knowledge. You attain unity with you, in the sense Bhattatri is telling here that Rishabha, O Lord, in the form of Rishabha, you attain unity with Brahman, you attain moksha, you attained, you can say, uh, you knew what is a supreme reality, and this knowledge you also told it to others. You are free from attachment and so on. You wandered about the entire world spreading about this knowledge. Thus, the now here the Lord, it seems that he lived the life of a python. Basically here, Gomriga ka Shayovratam Gomriga ka Kachariyam. Last verse, Dashakam 20. A python, cow, deer, and crow. Why? Now, why these forms? That is, even in these forms also the Lord tried to show why these four animals are mentioned specifically is, even in these forms also the Lord showed a path that be it any form, but anyone can teach you anything. These are all life lessons that are there. So even being in different forms, always only I'll be a human, I'll be a king only, then I can do good things. Position or stature doesn't matter, whichever form you are. Just the physical form of things, or you can say living creatures, also doesn't matter. Even in that form, also, I can attain moksha, or I can. You see, that doesn't mean that you take up an animal birth also. The point that is being tried to show is physically, I need this, I need that, only then I can do good things. It's not like that. Be in any state, if we have the will, we can do good things. So, thus, the Lord wandered about here and there. Finally, he attained unity with the Lord and he perished. It seems that here it has been mentioned. Kutak Dava Hritangaf Kutakachale Tvam. What is Kutakachala? Anyone knows? Kutakachalam. Kutakachalam is nothing but today's Kurg, the famous Kurg hill station that you have, I think, in Karnataka, right?
Utkumali,
Kurkumali, correct.
Karnataka.
Right. So it seems that there came a forest fire in the Kutakachalam, in the Kurg mountains, and there's where Lord Rishabhadeva, he perished, or his avatara came to an end. So thus, Bhattatri says, you have done all this, so many things you have done, you have imparted knowledge, and you also ensured that King Bharata and all others, they rule over Bharata Desha will have a lot of kings. You ensured all this. So therefore, O Lord, now you bless me also, remove all my troubles. So with this, the